In a forgotten realm not that far, far away, it is time for PZ85 Plays on the Podzilla 1985 network. No, do not adjust your dials or your podcasting device, but please leave 5 stars if you have a chance, because I am Cody Sandusky, your DM, I suppose, for the night. We'll see how things go along. I may be mutinied very quickly, depending on how this goes, because we are currently in a hiatus for Star Wars Dawn of Defiance that will be coming back at the first of the year. In case you missed some of that news, listen back to last week's concluding episode of Act 1, or go back to Horse Time on Friday. It was a lot of fun. We talked a lot about Star Wars, but we got it out of our systems now because it is time to pivot into a more fantastical realm. We are going into Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but I am not doing this alone, thank God, because it'd be very boring if this was a solo show talking about some characters I put on a screen. I am joined by 3 of the 4 familiar voices from PZ85 Plays. Starting first is Double H.
That's not my name.
Oh, I see his name is Turd Ferguson.
It's not it. It's Moroccan Bad Kermit.
It sure is, pal. Okay. Moroccan
yeah, I'm
Bad
here.
Kermit
Hi,
here
hey.
join us. Hi, hey.
I need to quickly make mention that, first of all, I'm super goofy right now, but I am extremely appreciative of Cody for hosting, for being our interim DM for the month until we get back around to Star Wars, because, man, I mean, first of all, since we started doing this show, since we first did the show way back in April, I don't think I've taken a break. I think we've done a show every single week in that time frame, over many, many different games, from Ghostbusters to Savage Worlds to Star Wars, and so not only is it nice to get a break from having to put the game together, especially at this time of year, it's a nice little Christmas gift for me. It's also nice just to get to play. I am very much the archetype of the forever DM, and it is very rare that I get to play in a game, and this is the first time, I think, in a year, just over a year, since I've gotten to play in a game myself. So I'm very excited about this.
And I will do my best to give you something worth sticking around for the time we have you during the holiday break. But not only do we have Hunter, we also have Lindsey Wolfgong.
Hi, I have no clue what I'm doing.
I mean, it makes 3 of us, so no worries. We'll get through it together. And last but not least, the co-owner and co-founder of Podzilla 1985. Well, I guess the founder and co-owner, because he'll bite my head off if I put it any other way. Shannon Young.
I'm also very excited about this.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so very, very sad.
I got that out of my system now. I'm ready to rock and roll.
No, you didn't.
I thought
No,
that's what
it's
the
good.
last 30 minutes was for.
No, we're ready to rock and roll. Everything's great over here, and it's going to be a good time. I want to thank my friend Cody for doing this. It means a lot to all of us. We're excited to play. We're going to get through this together, and I know my little friend appreciates it too. Don't you, buddy?
Don't be a bad apple.
I'm going to be
a bad apple.
I'm going to be a Moroccan Bad Kermit.
That's going to be a name of somebody. I'm sure I'll find an NPC to name Moroccan Bad Kermit somewhere along the way.
He damn well better deserve it.
Well, I can't make any promises. Taking a look at what we are going to be playing tonight and for the next few weeks, we mentioned this is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the edition that came out, 2014, 2015, the most recent edition of the game system. We'll be playing by pretty basic rules. Everybody's character has been built through the player's handbook, so nothing too outlandish. Our players are seeing it on their map before them. We are in Faerun. We are in the Forgotten Realms, the most familiar region of Dungeons & Dragons, so you may hear some names or locations if you are a D&D player or a D&D tangential fan that you will be a little bit familiar with, which means that we are in a radically different system than what these 3 have been encompassed by the last 14 weeks, 15 weeks?
It's been a long
17.
time, Cody.
17 weeks.
I think we did 17 episodes, so yeah, it was, just over 4 months?
I'm pretty sure
we really go that much?
Yeah, we started in
Yes.
April with the Ghostbuster show, and we haven't, like Hunter said, we haven't stopped. I don't think we've taken a single week off, and when we did take a week off, we just recorded it early.
Yeah. Yeah, excuse me. The first act of Dawn of Defiance, I think, was 17 episodes, which means just over 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see why Tanner bowed out.
Yes, the voice you will not be hearing, Tanner, our good friend, I was going to call him the Big T, but that's not it. It's
The man himself.
The man
The man
himself.
himself. I was going to call him the Big Bucket, but that wasn't going to be nice, so...
The big bucket.
I didn't say it. It didn't happen, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. How dare you accuse me of such slander? He's not going to be joining us for this edition or these next few weeks, taking a little bit of a holiday hiatus himself, understandably. going through the arduous adventures as a very quickly Sith-turning Jedi. It's great. He's going to go recuperate, maybe get some dark side points back. Probably not. Probably earn a few more, and it'll be fine. Nope.
I can see if we have a...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I can see if I have a voice effect that can make me sound like a hillbilly.
No, I'm okay. Believe me, not to spoil too much, you're probably going to be hearing a couple hillbillies throughout this episode.
Yeehaw!
When Tanner comes back, I motion that we call him the Moroccan himself.
He won't get it because he doesn't.
Okay.
He won't get it because he doesn't listen to the show.
I second that notion.
If he's not on it, he ain't listening. I'm
exact
I'm
opposite.
for it.
I can't listen to shows I'm on. I can't. Well, not that I can't. I have, but it's pretty rare that I go back and now anyway. I used to a lot, but
I would say I used to as well. Back when we first started this thing, I was so proud of myself for what I had accomplished. I listened to every show. I don't care anymore.
See, for me, I spent over 10 years having to listen to myself do this stuff every day. I'm good. Like I know what I sound like. It's fine.
I'm just surprised that all the listeners stick with us, because it's been my experience that anytime someone stays with me a lot and I talk to them, they usually leave. And we've been doing this for over almost 6 years now, and you know what? Let's not make
Cody,
those.
You got
jokes
those
tonight.
dice ready?
Let's play the game.
I've got both sets of my dice ready. Okay, so
hey Cody, I just want to tell you one thing real quick. From my character to you, if you hate me, then kill me.
I will do my best. Believe me.
Wait.
TPK is the name of the game, so be ready.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys are on easy mode with me.
That's right. Cody wants blood.
Watch
That's the name of this campaign.
We're gonna wipe in the first battle.
No, if you do, things have gone horribly wrong. Otherwise, known as a typical Wednesday night for me.
I heard if even one rat bites you, you get the plague status, and the only item that cures it costs 2,000 souls.
2,000 souls, man. It's a ripoff.
Nuts.
But I don't have a soul.
Oh, and there aren't enough souls in this campaign for you guys to get it either. So, damn the luck.
The common clay of the
I will
New
not
West.
Yeah, that's right. The thing we can tell you at the jump, I will not give you the name of the campaign. Not that it's a terrible spoiler. It is, but it's pretty direct. It's not gonna blow 10 weeks of content. We are going to be playing around a number of NPCs that are, as Hunter alluded to, the common clay of the New West. Idiots, morons. Yeah.
Oh, goody.
No, it's a lot of farm folk, and you'll hear that as we go along. So without,
I should probably recheck my sheet as to how I act with people that are dumb.
Oh, don't worry. Actually, before we even jump in, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit. Why don't we go around? We'll do it the same order I introduce you, Hunter, Lindsey, Seanan. Give our listeners a little bit of info. You don't have to give the whole backstory, but just a general preview of who you are portraying during this campaign.
Well, who was first?
Yes, have some. Hunter, jump in, get in where you fit in, but we can do the same way I introduced you.
That means me.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's true. Typically, yes.
So I'm playing a guy by the name of Bacchus, Bakkus. He is a half-orc barbarian by trade, I guess, if you want to go by game mechanics. You peel back the curtain. As far as an actual person in the world, as a half orc, he's kind of on the fringe of society, but he sort of has like his own little town that he kind of protects and takes care of. He's kind of a folk hero to these people, to some previous adventures. This is a character I'm bringing over from 4th edition to 5th edition that I've recreated as a lower level character in this edition. So he has a group of people that he once, along with some other compatriots, saved from a tyrant who was trying to kind of take over their land and make it a part of his. And while he doesn't really understand the idea of being a folk hero, he's not a super charismatic guy or anything. He's kind of just embraced it because it's better than living alone. So he's a dual axe wielder. He was a former gladiator in the fighting pits against his will, and when he escaped that, he used his abilities to learn to cut wood effectively, and so that's how he kind of makes his living and gets by. He has some carpentry skills and such, and so, yeah, that's who he is. He's the kind of guy who doesn't go looking for a fight, but if one gets started, he'll make sure to end it.
And if we don't achieve that tonight, it means I've done something terribly wrong as a DM. So, going from that to a radically different character, Lindsey, tell us about yours.
So I am playing Ginny. She is a half-elf warlock that was raised as a sage. She sold her soul for her abilities when she was a young teenager, and where she is now, she's starting to not necessarily regret that choice, but doesn't particularly like the idea of serving her devil master for all of her eternal afterlife. So she's determined to find a way to earn her soul back.
Sounds like a fair gambit. I mean, I can't blame her.
Otherwise, she's pretty much just sort of on the search of knowledge, and she has it in her mind that if she can solve some great mystery in her lifetime, she'll earn the respect of the demon, that she'll get her soul back as a reward, basically.
There you go.
Is what she has herself convinced of.
Yeah, convincing yourself's half the battle. And going from someone who sounds at least slightly altruistic to Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. Shannon, tell us about your Birdman.
Well, I didn't realize everybody was going to be so intricate with their character histories. Have to be. So, bird with arms.
Yes.
No, he's. I didn't actually. I'm playing a character named. I don't remember his first name. It's Rosenblood is his last name, but he had a first name, and I'm looking at my character sheet, and it ain't there. So
no, it hasn't. That's why I was asking you about it. Peel back the curtain for the pre-show. I was like, I guess we're calling him this. So which way is it? Yeah,
no, I was looking for the first name. It was supposed to be like, I don't know, Squawk or Squeak or something. We'll just go with Rosenblood. It's fine. I before I even saw what the character was, because it's an Eric Kokra.
Kokra, yeah.
Eric Kokra. I didn't actually. Full disclosure, I didn't know what an Eric Kokra was like. I just saw it was a bird, and I thought I've never played a bird before, so that sounds like fun. But I'm looking through their characters, and it pretty much is exactly what I assumed I would be, which is kind of a flirty, noble-ish, snobbish kind of. He's very much like Rivali from Breath of the Wild, and I swear I didn't just rip the character off. I took inspiration. So, yeah, he doesn't really. You know what? Don't worry about his history. He's a bird man. It's a mystery. He's
technically you can't take inspiration unless Cody assigns it to you.
I was gonna let it slide, but yes, that is accurate.
I don't like Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't understand it, so this is gonna be real interesting.
Point is, he's a quick-tempered, arrogant, aristocratic birdman who is looking for someone who he perceives as wronged him. It's like you've seen The Princess Bride with the character who was looking for the man that killed his father.
Yeah, it's Montoya. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no.
Anybody want a peanut?
It's the same kind of thing, except it's not nearly as important. It's more like, I don't know, someone stole a fish out of his mouth or something. We'll come up with it later.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it. In fact, you're not even going to hear any of this. I'm just going to dub over this with his actual explanation. So.
The actual explanation is just you, but with one of those Warcraft filters over your voice.
Oh, don't encourage him. You gave him the idea now.
I think that would be a mistake, honestly. To just go right to that. Yeah.
Yep. You did this, Hunter. You brought this on us. Why?
Rosenblood is the bird's name.
Rosenblood. Okay.
He's Moroccan.
Moroccan birdman Rosenblood, Ginny and Bacchus. Okay. Quite a ragtag group of individuals we have here. And it's actually, where this is taking place fits really well for two of your characters, because we are on the outskirts of the western border of the High Forest in Faerun, just due northeast, or maybe just not due north, but northeast of the Star Mounts, which is a hotspot for the Aarakocra that do find themselves in the Forgotten Realms. So Shannon's character may not be too far from home. We'll figure out as we go along how these three have found their way into each other's paths, because I think it's about that time we jump into this backstory a bit.
Let's just jump into it.
Let's just jump into it 14 and a half minutes in. It's probably fine.
Oh, we've already lost the listeners. We can pretty much do whatever we want at this point.
That's right. It's all blackjack and hookers now. Okay.
Wait, what?
So, I was going to say we're going to do a better tabletop game of blackjack and hookers, but no blackjack.
Forget the hookers. Forget the whole thing.
Forget the whole thing. It's fine. Good night, everybody. So, the three of you are on your way, again, through varying means or through varying purposes to Frickley. It is a small farming hamlet on the western border of the High Forest, not far from the Sumber Hills. Again, this is a very relatively hilly, mountainous region in portions of Lost Peaks. The Star Mounts, Gray Peak Mountains are all nearby this little region at the edge of the forest. One of you in particular has a dedicated purpose for making this journey, and that is Bacchus. Bacchus, you received word within the last few days that a former traveling companion, a former partner in arms, Montague Monty Eads, has fallen ill in this region. He has taken his leave after your previous adventures and has deemed it fit to go back to his tobacco farm and live life a bit more restfully, a little bit more peacefully.
Yeah.
And as he has successfully done so, he hasn't really encountered much in the way of chaotic adventures. He is getting up there in years, and so, of course, humans have their way of falling ill and going away. So that is the reason you have decided to leave the town in which your folk hero status lies, to go visit your friend, perhaps pay your final respects, but at least to see him and reminisce.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be something that, it'd be difficult more for the people of Thunder Tree, of the town, than it'd be more difficult for them to accept than it would for Bacchus in general. But yeah, that's something that he would have to spend some time preparing and making them understand that he'll be back, but it's very much something that he has to do. Monty, along with a halfling rogue by the name of Mabon Weatherby, were the two who helped him beat back the tyrant who was oppressing those people prior to that, Nathaniel Evanor. And so Monty, as you mentioned, was older then at that point in time. As a sidebar, he was in 4th edition a warlord character. He was a former ship captain, and so his lower level is explained by him actually getting up there in age. But he was very good at leading groups of people, and he helped Bacchus train some of the people of the town to defend themselves against the incoming forces and to kind of take up arms. And so those two were about as close as it gets. Bacchus is not somebody who has a lot of close friends. Those two would be top of the list, and due to just sort of her nature as a thief, May is kind of always in the wind. You never really know. Last he heard, she was somewhere around the Sword Coast, maybe in Waterdeep. Seems where everybody heads. But Monty, after he left his ship, settled down at this farm that he was running, and so he's kind of just always in that stationary area. But I would suspect that if that news came down, he would Bacchus would make his preparations and be on his way as soon as possible.
So indeed it has happened. Bacchus has started making his way through this portion of the forest to find his friend's home and to reminisce and meet with him. Shannon, yours is one that's a bit more curious. Rosenblood is an Aarakocra, and as you alluded to a little bit, Aarakocra tend to see themselves as a bit elevated beyond the mortals or the human folk in which they find themselves sharing a plane. Aarakocra don't all really originate from the Forgotten Realms or from Faerun. They've kind of found their way here through myriad sundry means, but they tend to stick to their own devices on the star mounts. They kind of look and observe down. Look down is probably the more appropriate term. So riddle me for Rosenblood the reason he has decided to put himself amongst the common folk.
First off, I want to say that I appreciate all the bird jokes.
I'm here to help.
I would like to keep that to myself for now.
That's fair.
And I truly mean that. This is not me covering for the fact that I have no idea what's happening. I legitimately have something that I meant to talk to you about before the show to work into it, and completely forgot because I was working on something else. So we're going to save it for the next one. Let's just say he's here and he's keeping to himself because, like you said, he and his kind are very much above the people that he finds himself kind of feather to elbow with at the moment.
That's fair. So you will be... I'm assuming because the star mounts are not far off the path that Bacchus is going to be taking to get to Frickley, you're going to find yourself in a decent perimeter, even if you just leave the star mounts a couple of miles, you're going to find yourself entangled at least high above where some of these characters are going to reside. So finding your way into this group, or maybe if you care so much as to soar down and mingle amongst the commons, is going to leave you in purview of the rest of the group. Jenny's the mysterious one in this group. Half-elves specifically don't typically find themselves in the high forest. There are some of them, yes, albeit more of your hunter-gatherer, woodsy living types. A warlock, especially one seeking the knowledge that you do, doesn't typically find themselves in a farming region outside the high forest. So I believe we're going to hopefully have a little bit of fun finding out why you have found your way to this. Even if you're just passing by, I feel like that there's some mysteries behind what your character is going to have for us.
She's definitely passing through, that's for sure.
All right.
So she's on her search for knowledge in general, but she's actually headed further west towards the Star Mounts to follow a rumor that she's heard that no one has a true answer to, so she thinks it may be her mystery.
Okay. So the three... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, for those of the people that are listening, I know we got a lot of listeners on here that are maybe coming over from the Dawn of Defiance and maybe even the Ghostbusters and the Perryville trilogy. And for those of you listening, I want you to message me. And I want you to tell me if you could also hear the desperation and fear in Lindsey and I's voices after Hunter went on his character's backstory. Okay. I'm just curious if you can hear it.
It seems like a good time to again make mention that I've been playing D&D since I was about 15.
Right.
I'm 35, so I'm going on 20 years of at the very least playing a little bit here and there. Also,
you're a bit of a veteran.
Yeah, and again, this character is a character that I carried over from 4th edition, where we played in about a year. Sarah and I played in about a year-long campaign. May was Sarah's character, is Sarah's character. She still plays her from time to time. There's a 5e edition, 5th edition, I'll get it right in a second, version of her too. But yeah, we played this character for about a year, so I have a very distinct idea of who he is. It was pretty easy for me to just settle on this. Once you guys decided on your characters, he fit in perfectly with the party, and I was like, yeah, that's who I'm going to play. So
was May in our game?
No, you played with she had a character named Arya that was an Eladrin, and then you played with another one, Morgan. Sarah's nodding, yes. Yeah, she played 2 Eladrin over the course of games that you guys played, Arya and then Morgan. May didn't come about until after that. May's a very different character because the Eladrin she played were super high elves, spell sword types. They were very magic-y and blades and such. And actually, that's something that I'm sure at some point in time will probably come into play. I feel like I kind of should have mentioned this to Cody, so I'm just going to say it now. Bacchus comes from a very low magic campaign. Not that there wasn't magic in the world, but none of those 3 characters. She was a halfling rogue. He was a fighter then, not a barbarian. And Monty was a warlord. None of those characters had any magic abilities. They had a couple magic items, but that was about it. So, like, inherently magic people or characters are not really new to him per se, but he's not spent a lot of time around those kind of people. So. Yes.
Oh, that's going to serve. That's going to serve for some fun between 2 of our 3 PCs.
Yes.
Oh boy! In fact, I'm going to go off a little of the script, and we're just going to put you 2 together as we start this along. Bacchus and Jenny. I would believe it, at least in Jenny's case, being a half elf, being a warlock. You've got some skills to defend yourself. You've got weapons. You've got capabilities, but I can't imagine that, at least in your case, wanting to travel alone through an unknown region is really your bag. You would probably, if so possible, like to at least tether somewhere around someone else that you could possibly just follow along.
Yeah, if I've got someone that's going to keep me alive, definitely.
Well, I'd say a half-orc barbarian is probably skilled in that department, especially taking a look at some of the exploits of his past. I feel like he is someone who's certainly capable of doing that.
Yeah, that would very much be, kind of his. It's not his line of work. Don't get me wrong, but Bacchus is committed to the idea of keeping people safe effectively. So yeah, that's something that he would sign up for to some degree. Now I will make mention that, and he would make this a point, assuming they met, let's say in a tavern or something like that, and they discussed this partnership, that he's not the most how should I put this? Perceptive. He's not exactly there to keep a sharp eye out for things that are going to happen. It's basically when things go down, he's there to light it up, pretty much.
Yeah, you're the hands and feet of combat. You're not
there you go.
The person who's going to be scouting.
Yep.
That
it's okay, I'm fine being a set of eyes.
That works for me.
So there you go. The tandem has been formed, and for you two specifically, you have been spending several days on foot, making your way through the edge of the high forest, not needing to delve too deep, at least for the time being. On the way to this, at least in your case, Bacchus, the tiny hamlet of Frickley on the borders of this forest. Rolling plains have given way to a light forest as you follow an overgrown dirt road that winds its way through the trees. One Birdman Rosenblood. I picture at this point you're probably just on your flight about. You just kind of left the star mounts for a little bit. Time to stretch your wings. Or your bird with arms needs to get its arms stretched out and get ready for a little bit of activity. Just something to get some blood pumping.
Yeah, I see him very much just kind of cruising up above, looking down at the small little world.
There you go. Small. I like it. You're very much in the mindset of an Aarakocra already. You've tapped into your character just right. So as you perceive from above, but as the two of you, Bacchus and Jenny, you should all now be seeing a map of where you are going. I believe so.
Oh, I gotta zoom out.
Yeah.
Again, your boy has played Roll20 as a player.
Green.
Yeah, I've played Roll20 a lot on the player side. I've never thrown maps in, so forgive me in advance for all of the probably very zoomed in maps you're going to be getting to start.
That's
it's
okay.
neat.
We can make it work.
It's neat.
Is it? Is that what it is?
This is a new aspect for us as far as being able to interact with the maps more.
Yeah,
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and just to help you guys drag you where you are at least for Bacchus and Jenny. You two are going to be coming from the south of this map. Rosenblood, you have some fun flying about. You're kind of in the general vicinity as well.
Bird up.
For the two of you... Go ahead.
Oh, I just said bird up.
Bird up, that's right. For the two of you that are on ground level, as you start making your way around a bend and coming up from the south side of this map, you're going to be hearing some shouts and cries up ahead. And you're going to start seeing these things as you approach. As you come into view of this area, you're going to be seeing a cart about 100 yards ahead. You see a large draft horse kind of skittering up front in the cart, being driven by a plainly dressed man and woman with a few young children cowering in the back. If you do decide to come closer, and seeing as you're being funneled toward it, I imagine that's the path you are going to take, you're going to be seeing two strange fey creatures. From the waist up, they appear to be human, save for the horns curling from their heads. However, their goat-like legs are covered with thick fur and end in hooves. The creatures laugh as they jab away at the family with short swords that shimmer and glint in the morning light, their joy growing in the counterpoint to the human's terror. Even as you watch, one casually dodges a pitchfork being inexpertly wielded by the man and neatly slices through the chair being jabbed at it by the screaming woman. I'd imagine, at least in Bax's case, and with Jenny, with your knowledge, you're pretty familiar. You're coming up on a cart being harassed by a couple of satyrs.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you want to...
Based on the appearance here, so no one is driving the cart, right? It's just there's a horse attached to it, but it's not currently moving.
Yeah, basically this family has parked, for lack of a better phrase. They're trying to defend themselves. Probably to give a little bit more insight, we're going to go ahead and move this guy closer because they're feeling a bit trapped. They're feeling kind of cornered where they are with these two satyrs harassing them. The parents are trying to defend the kids in the back of this cart and just keep themselves safe.
Okay.
Do you wish to approach?
Yeah, but I want to try to do so as quietly as possible anyway.
Certainly.
To the left, it looks like there's maybe some brush that I could kind of make my way through and get a bit closer without being seen in the process.
Yeah, go ahead.
And quietly, I'm just going to kind of signal to her, double eyes, both fingers point. Hey, you go right, I'll go left.
All right.
Okay, I gotcha.
I'm going to need for both of you to make a stealth roll.
That's something I can do. I don't know if it's something I can do well, but it's something I can do.
You're just rolling 1d20s again, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in your case with Ginny, it's straight up and down.
Yeah.
That's a 12 total for me.
Okay.
16.
Okay. In Lindsey's case, or in Ginny's case, you're going to find your way toward that right side quietly enough. The satyrs seem to be pretty entertained by what they are occupying themselves with right now. They're taunting along. As you get a little bit closer, you're going to notice that they don't care as much about causing any harm to this family. They're more just, they're in it for the kicks and grins. They just want to cause some chaos. This is their way to break the boredom in the morning. Bacchus, on the other hand, as you start turning your way around this left set of bushes, as you start going through, you don't quite pay attention to how much underbrush is on the ground, and you snap a few twigs that are loud enough to pique the attention specifically of this satyr here, who is going to turn around your direction and not make a move toward you just yet. He's going to whistle to his buddy, who is going to start hollering and whistling towards you, maybe a few crude words I can't say on this episode specifically. You know, you kobold liquor,
save them for Thursday.
Things of that ilk. Yeah, sure. You know, Thursday, Friday, bird time, horse time, wherever we're gonna go.
Bird time.
Bird time.
Do you want me to move myself in this case?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. Yeah, if you want to move yourself that way, and that's for you guys.
Just
I
move speed effectively.
Yeah, 30 feet, but you've got a little. We'll say you got a little bit more. I mean, you came from about I would say 100 feet out. So yeah, thereabouts would be fine.
Right about there. Okay.
So you have found yourself near enough to see these satyrs. You get a glimpse of those short swords. They're whistling, they're hooting at you because you've caught their attention, which means you're a new thing to play with, a new thing to taunt. One of them is going to pull out a set of panpipes, and they're going to play a little bit of a tune.
Oh, good.
Go ahead, and for you specifically, Bacchus, go ahead and give me... pardon me while I pull up the sheet that I need. Go ahead and give me a wisdom throw.
Oh, that's something I can do. Not well, but it is something I can do. 17, that's better than I expected.
Oh, hey, yeah, you don't have to worry too much. So, the goal of that satyr is to frighten you. It's playing a very sketchy tune, a lot of harsh noises, a lot of sounds that you can pull out of a panpipe, but it doesn't seem like that's working on you. You seem resolute. You've got yourself focused. Ginny, you don't have to worry about that. You see the panpipes, but the tune doesn't carry across the forest bed to your location, and you seem pretty acutely aware of the situation not to be bothered by it.
Yeah.
Specifically, Rosenblood, you're flying above. You see the satyrs taunting this family, causing some chaos. You're high enough to where you don't see the details of the other characters making their way into this area. What do you wish to do?
So, okay. How quickly can you die in this?
I made the joke about a TPK at the beginning. You're gonna have to try hard to get killed.
Here's what I'm thinking. So Rosenblood, he is flying overhead. He sees this happening down there, these people being terrorized, and he just kind of, at first he looks and he just kind of shrugs it off. Not my problem. Who cares? They're low lives. But as he hears the cries and the screams, the hero inside of him, he just kind of, he kind of sighs and says to himself that a hero's job is never done. So, not knowing that these other two are there, he would, as I foresee it, literally just fly and land directly, not right beside the scene itself, but maybe oh god, how do I click and drag myself out?
Yeah.
How do I move this?
Just click and move your token.
Yeah, if you just click once and drag, or click and hold and drag.
You're on the map already.
I can't seem to move them on the map, though.
You could...
Oh, actually, I do know why. I'll go ahead and move you where you are. That's my bad. I forgot your character hadn't joined yet, so let me go ahead and change that. But while we were doing that, so what this tells me is you kind of wish to start a little bit of fisticuffs with these individuals.
He lands, let's say, looking at the map here, actually where you've got him, pretty much right there, maybe one to the left. He just straight up lands, imagine it Superman style, with one, he just hits the ground, one wing on the ground, kind of looks up, pulls a sword out, and kind of takes a bow and says, yes, you're seeing it. Let's dance.
Okay. And with that in mind, let's roll some initiative.
Also, to the people cowering in the wagon, he calms them and says, don't worry. Your protection is here. No need to thank me.
I'm going to be frank with you. 2 of the 3 little girls in the back of the cart shriek upon your dive down. Mom and Dad are at least... there's some mixture of relief that you're not a satyr, but also some concern that you're a birdman who just descended from the sky unannounced.
Like an angel with a beak.
I appreciate that instead of Birdman, we're all agreeing to just go with Birdman.
Birdman. No, it's Birdman.
I don't like that well, okay, at least I'm not as bad as Lindsey.
I couldn't break myself from saying Birdman if I tried.
Last.
I got an 18 total here, Cody.
Okay.
I've got an 11.
So let's see.
I don't know what number I'm adding to it, if anything.
Initiative.
On your sheet, you should. Well, you don't. You have a +0, but on your sheet you have an initiative section. So
it's Lindsey. It's right beside your armor class.
To find that.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, do you guys want to call ourselves the Birds of War?
No.
What about the Pigeon Boys?
I got
no.
What I want to do on my first turn is I just want to pick up some trash and just eat the trash.
Start eating it.
Oh man, not to break the situation too much, but we actually have in my other campaign a Fey summon of a satyr that we have named Danny DeVito.
What, Hunter?
That's
what was
a
the
Hercules reference.
Oh, I know. No, it is.
Well,
and he has
then
eaten trash on at least one occasion.
Phil.
Didn't we have a character you had in one of our D&D campaigns? What was it, Maeve Dahoney? And he had that belt.
He had a belt of giant strength. He was constantly trying to sell it, but nobody wanted it.
Oh my god,
that's true. Yeah.
Oh, that's stellar. Okay, so Hunter, what was yours one more time?
18 total.
18. All right. Then we're gonna go ahead, and if you can imagine, it looks like you are going to be going first in our order.
Yes, I am. All right, so... I didn't have a weapon drawn. That's a bad idea. Yeah, you know what? Rather than the normally I'd go for Bacchus would go for... He's got a dual pair of hand axes he keeps in his belt at his front. These things are worn. They have seen quite a bit of use. But he also keeps like a double-bladed great axe strapped to his back. And since he was not really prepared for combat, I'm going to have him draw that instead as he makes his move. So he pulls that double-bladed great axe, and I'm going to have him move 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I guess I should clarify. That's my bad. All tiles assume, unless said otherwise, all tiles are 5 feet.
5 feet. That's what I was assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna have him move 5 up to here to keep him close to the cart. So he makes a dashing lunge forward here with that axe, and he's gonna take a swing at this satyr.
All right. Give me an
quick.
attack roll.
That's the plan. I also have to make sure that I got all my bonuses in front of me here because I got the wrong section pulled up. Here we go. That's much better.
I believe
can't do that until afterward, can't I? Sorry, I'm terrible about this. Because I haven't played in so long. I'm kind of thinking about using one of his abilities. Yeah. I'm going to use his reckless attack.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I understand it correctly, it gives me advantage, which means I roll 2d20, take the higher number, right?
Yep.
And that means any rolls against me until my next turn have advantage as well. Okay. Then yeah, I'm going to use his reckless attack, and this is... How often can I do that? First attack in your turn. So I can do that every time, effectively, if I want to. Very cool.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right, well, I am indeed going to take it then, so here we go. We'll roll 1. I'm glad that wasn't it. And then we'll roll the other. Yeah, it's not much better.
Boy, howdy.
The total highest roll then would be a 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bacchus, finding himself a little unprepared for combat, takes that big lunging swing, and the satyr is able to pivot back on its hoof just enough to avoid the slash coming its way. So, Bacchus, despite that reckless attack, is going to need to gird himself a little bit for how things go, because this satyr... You're going to get the feeling that this wasn't its intention. It didn't plan to fight. It just wanted to get its kicks and have a good time. But since Birdman has come from the sky and others, or at least one other at this juncture for their perception, has joined the melee, they're going to find their way into defending themselves. So the one that is in front of Bacchus is going to take his attempt. Oh boy, and don't worry. Bacchus, you swung hard, but you were pivoting quickly. You're still athletic. You're spry enough. You're getting a little older in years. You haven't had to go into this level of combat in a little while, but you still have some acute abilities to move when you sense the danger's on its way. This satyr is going to bear down and try to ram into you, but instead of getting you, it's going to get a lot of air as you pivot your way out. You're going to deke him like you're a bull, or he is a bull and you are a matador. You're going to go ahead and pull that out of the way. He's going to fly by and try to pivot himself back into control. So that's one of them. Not very happy about this, by the way. Again, he didn't plan to fight, but now that you've instigated him, he's kind of pissed that he wasn't able to get the headlay on that one. Birdman, the Aarakocra has been a mystical beast for these satyrs. They haven't really seen too many of your kind come down to their level, so he's ready to maybe have a little bit of fun in this combat as well. So he is going to take his try. Seeing that his compatriot didn't do well with the charging approach, he's going to swing a short sword at Rosenblood. And Rosenblood, you have just off enough. So it's going to make some contact. Don't worry, you're not going to die yet. And if you are, well then, I'm better at D&D than I thought.
Sorry, I got some...
no, don't worry.
I got some
Don't
Black
worry,
Ops
you're
waiting
fine.
for me.
That short sword is going to catch you in your left wing. He's going to make a bit of a jab, basically lunging forward, trying to make sure that instead of trying to swing from top to bottom, he just wants to get any kind of attack on you after seeing his compatriot miss. You are going to take 6 piercing damage.
Okay.
And actually, we can go ahead and do this for my own record.
That's a lot of damage when you only have 16 hit points. Cody.
It's true. Actually, it is.
Just for the record.
All right. It is. But don't worry. You get a chance to do something back because now it is your turn.
Sorry, I'm also eating dinner. I apologize. I will hit the mute button as soon as possible. I am going to look at this satyr that just clipped me and with just wide eyes and open beak and just say, "You dastard." I assume dastard is a word that they would use. And then he is going to take a swing because unlike Hunter's character, his short sword is gloriously beautiful. It is just perfect, as is everything he does and says. So,
well, that's what happens when they don't see much use.
Or when you're oh, you bastard! I'll get you back. Don't you worry. Sorry, so I'm gonna take a swing at the gentleman right next to me. I say gentleman. I believe his name is Dandy Ick, and I'm gonna swing at him.
Sure, go for it.
And I think I'm getting this right because I did a pre-roll over on dndbeyond.com to see what my roll would be, and I believe it's this.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty stout hit with a 24. Go ahead and roll me some damage.
Well, he's upset.
I would imagine.
And that was with a short sword, so that is a 1d6 plus 5. That's an 8.
8. Okay. Oof, you got the leg up on him a little bit. He's smarting. He does not appreciate that kind of hit. So you, as you said, taking that clip on your wing, you're not feeling very chuffed that someone so below you on the order of creatures in this kingdom is going to be able to actually lay an attack upon you. So you are going to dash at him quickly with that short sword, and you're going to catch him pretty good. You're going to catch him in that arm.
Forever.
And he's not feeling great about that. And that moves us to Ginny, the bottom of the order.
I don't know that I feel like these are worth spending too much energy on, so I'm going to take my crossbow out and fire at the one that Bacchus had been attacking.
Okay. So that is Satyr 1. Yeah, go ahead and give me a roll.
Okay. So, obviously, since I haven't done this on this one, the hit DC add, do I add that to...
Yes, that would be your attack
attempting to
roll.
hit? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a D20 plus 2 in this case.
Let's see how much the dice hate me this week. 19.
Hey, they don't hate you too much. All right, go ahead and give me a damage roll, which in your case for this is 1d8.
All right. And 3.
3. Okay. You whiz an arrow off that crossbow, and you, at first, are a little worried it's going to go a bit low. You're going to land it in that bush, but no, it's going to catch him on the heel near that hoof, and he gives a bit of a yelp. It doesn't seem to slow him down very much, but you can tell he's not pleased, and now he has his attention trying to pivot his head back and forth because you've got it on a swivel, being as far away as you are. He knows there's somebody amongst that tree line to his back and to the right, I guess, for the spatial recognition here.
Back?
He knows there's someone. Yeah, I was going to do
right.
the back to the left,
Okay.
too. I had to catch myself. but he's aware that as much as that stings a little bit, there's a guy with some heftier hardware in front of him. And speaking of, he with the hefty hardware, Bacchus, you're back up.
Okay. So, if I read this correctly, this is a bonus action. So I'm going to go ahead and, having missed that attack, Bacchus is going to turn, like you said, on his heel, flank that blow away from him, and pull that great axe in tight, and then he looks at this satyr and just growls. And it starts as a low rumble, and then he just starts to howl directly at it. I'm going to have him enter his rage.
Oh, buddy.
So if I understand correctly, advantage on strength checks, +2 melee damage, and resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, right?
That's what I'm seeing.
As long as I keep attacking. Very good. Okay, and then since this guy somehow moved away from me by missing me, I'm going to move in. And because I don't have reach. And yeah, we're going to take a swing with that great axe again. No bonus to hit, or no additional bonus to hit, but
No.
But do have that rage ongoing. Here we go. Still not good.
Boy, howdy.
Yep.
So that's how much total?
It's an 8 total still to hit,
8.
because I don't get a bonus to hit with the rage. It's a bonus only to
Okay,
damage.
just if you connect, yeah.
Yeah.
So Bacchus, you're knocking some rust off. You know, wood doesn't move very often when you're chopping it, but these guys seem to have a little bit of mobility. You're going to take that big swing, and unfortunately, this satyr is going to shuffle to his left. He's going to stay in that same tile, but he's within reach. But he did.
I've never known a goat
he
to
did
move
avoid
this
that
fast.
attack. No, they're spry fellows. This is a bit unique for them, and so. He is, again, quite miffed. He did not want to be fighting today. He just wanted to taunt some peon humans, but you've decided to put yourself into this situation. He doesn't want to run at you again. Ramming you doesn't feel like that's going to work very well, because it didn't the first time, so he's going to go ahead and pull out that short sword and take a poke at you. And that is going to be a miss. So he is going to go ahead and try to jab at you forward, again, seeing what his compatriot did and saying that, you know what, trying to chop or do anything fancy is not worth it. Just try to full-on contact. He does not. You are able to move out of your way and avoid that slash. So from one to the other, Rosenblood, you're already feeling a bit miffed. This guy is feeling a bit in danger. You gave him a bit of a lashing there, and he does not know what to do with that. And in that confusion, he's going to try to stab at you with that sword again, and he is going to instead fumble a bit. He's going to lose his footing trying to get to you. You've given him enough, a shaken mentality. He didn't expect to be taking a stab wound, so he is a bit shaken, tries to go after you, does not accomplish his goal. And so he put himself prime in a position for you to do something about it.
Well, Cody, I think you know what I'm going to do.
Oh, I have a feeling I know what you're going to do.
I'm going to take another... I'm going to look... I want to get arrogant now, but I'm afraid that I'll screw up. So let me roll the dice first, then I'll get arrogant. Yeah, I'm going to get arrogant. I think I'm going to get arrogant. Can I get arrogant? Just for a second?
Oh, that's a crit there, bud.
Okay.
Go ahead and
So how does
double up that damage for me.
Double up. Okay, I was wondering how crits work in this. All right, so we got a 1, was it a 1d6 plus 5? Okay.
What the hell?
Oh, so I guess it would be just 1d6 plus 5 times 2.
Yeah, you do all the
That's
damage
how
and
I've
then you
always done
double it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't spell roll correctly, so give me a second. That's embarrassing.
Got me worried there, Hunter. You said what the hell?
22.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
See, okay, so he gets offended when he gets hit, basically. And
Yeah.
when he sees him stumble, he kind of steps back when he stumbles over, and then he just aims the sword directly at him and says, well, that was unfortunate, and then what happens.
Oh, and what happens is a lot. You run him right through the chest with your sword, and you put it clean front to back. You pull out that sword, and he falls to the ground, dropping his weapon. He's dead as doornails.
This is going well so far. I like this.
For one of you. Not specifically for that guy. He's got a whole lot of dead on him.
Well, you know what? He shouldn't have been standing there.
I need.
That's what he gets. So he did.
I'm make a new,
seeing the fall.
We'll make a new player that just says he got a whole lot of dead on him.
So this other satyr in front of you, Bacchus, he didn't expect to be mourning the loss of a brother today, so he's going to want to run away. But that gives you an attack of an opportunity as he starts to make his way away from you. So
wait, is that like a reaction?
Yeah, for him. Well, that's going to be for him. That's the reaction he's going to get to try to run away.
Oh, okay.
Take a jab.
I thought he had to do that on his turn. Okay, that's something I can do. Yeah, attack of opportunity. Let's go. Yeah, that's much better. 19 to hit.
Roll me that damage.
What do I have? D12? Yeah, D12 plus 3. No, plus 5 because I'm raging.
Yep.
11 damage.
All right. He's bloodied. You come down with that axe, and you're gonna take a chunk with you. He's hurting.
Oh yeah, the second that he sees his buddy go down and he takes his eye off of me, that's all I need. I just need an opening.
Yep. So you have thrashed your way through his shoulder because he had his back to you a bit, but he is still going to be trying to make his move away from you. Knowing that wound has happened, though, he's not going to make it very far before Jenny gets her chance. So Jenny, you will be the first one to make the decision. You see an opponent fleeing the field. He's trying to get away. What do you plan to do with that?
By the way, how many people are resisting the urge every time to go Jenny?
I think a Tommy two-tone, actually.
Yeah. Well, Jenny, what do you turn to?
What the hell are you doing?
I personally don't have any beef against it, but at the same time, we're already attacking it, so I'm within range still. I'm going to take another shot at him from where I am. Okay,
so you're doing another crossbow bolt?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot another bolt at him.
All right, give it a try.
10.
You're going to see that bolt get close, but he's moving a bit. You're not able to steady yourself just enough, and it's going to end up in the brush between him and Bacchus.
Okay.
So that bolt's going to be buried in this little bit of green, and that's going to leave back to Bacchus. You're back at the top of the order, bud. What do you...
back to Bacchus.
How do you wish to handle that?
Back to back. He's still adjacent to me there, right?
Yeah, he hasn't had a chance to move yet. He was trying to disengage, but you've wounded him a bit, and he's not moving so fleet of foot now, or fleet of hoof, as it were. All
right, then the game is afoot, Trebek. We are going to go ahead and enact that reckless attack again. That way I got advantage, and we're going to swing this great axe down. I'm imagining he's going up full woodcutting style, two-handed over his head, and coming straight down on this guy if this hits. All right, let's roll a couple d20s, see what we get. That would be a 13. And I don't want that one. So
no, you don't.
Yeah, 13 total.
No, you don't. Yeah. It's just enough. Go ahead and roll me some damage.
Okay. Plus 5 for the rage. So 10 damage.
10. You take another good whack at him, and you draw more blood with it. This guy is looking frail at this point. You one more steady hit like that, it doesn't seem like he's going to make it out of here alive. He's going to be joining his brother in the pile.
No, yeah, he won't.
He won't, it seems, because he's going to use all of his movement speed to get away from you.
Sorry, real quick before I end, because I didn't move. I didn't move on my turn. I'm going to stay adjacent to him, but I'm going to move right here and block his path.
Oh, are you now?
Yeah. Yeah, after I come down on his back, I'm going to turn right around and just take my time walking around him and tell him this game is over.
He's going to look at you and just whimper. He's going to try to mutter out because he does know common. He's going to try to get to you, maybe play to your human side of your half-orc to say, hey, we were just messing around. You didn't have to kill my brother. I just wanted to piss some people off this morning.
You'll have to take that up with him. I didn't kill your brother. But I will kill you if this doesn't end here.
I just want to go home. I promise I'm going to go back to my little hole. I don't I'll get my brother later. These people can go. Just let me live.
Bacchus looks over his shoulder at the. He's like as an Aarakocra, he's like an eagle, right? Like effectively, like kind of an eagle-like bird.
Yeah, eagle humanoid.
That's what I'm saying.
So he's able to stand up on his talons, but yeah, he's not.
Back over his shoulder, him and says, "Let's say you." And
Rosenblood cleans. He has a little wet wipe or napkin style thing that he keeps in one of his pouches. Nap. Yeah, and he wipes the blood clean from his sword because he needs to keep it as pretty as possible all the time. And he just shrugs and says, "Doesn't matter to me."
Well, if you're going to leave him that opportunity, he is going to haul ass. He's going to move between the two of you and try to scurry up through this path back into your left.
Back. Damn it. No.
And to the left. As he does, rather than following his path, Bacchus is going to keep his attention in that same direction toward where Jenny is, and basically just give her the yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Let him go.
And he nods. He turns back as this one runs and says, "And tell your friends, never again here."
You don't hear word one out of him. He is going to use every bit of his movement speed to get the heck out of Dodge. And in fact, if Rosenblood, you've got just enough distance between you with his movement speed. What do you wish to do?
Oh, believe me, I'm highly considering it. I feel like that's beneath him. Let him go.
Okay. And with that, you'll see a trail of blood as he makes his way into the forest on this path that you guys see up and to your left. But one fallen brother in front of you, and you feel that the danger is over.
Yes, as soon as that one's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, he looks down at his arm, his wing, and he's just, well, who's going to take care of this?
As soon as that one's out of sight, Bacchus first takes a deep breath, and then replaces his great axe on his back, and looking toward the eagle man, says, "Friends of yours?"
A little chuckle out of him. Not quite. I just thought it looked like good fun.
It seems you were the only one having fun.
Well, when you're as good at what you do as I am, everything's fun.
While they're chatting, I'm going to walk up and retrieve my mist bolt and go up to Bacchus.
Go ahead.
That was a good effort from both of you, though. I must commend you. I'm not quite stellar, but I think you've got potential.
This one talks, he says to Jenny.
You'd be amazed what creatures speak.
Without any further introductions, Bacchus is going to move over toward the... are they, locked in this thing, Cody? Can you explain the cart situation?
I have control over them. No, they're not locked in. It's basically think of it as an open cart. I was going to say kind of a wagon, but there's no cover to it. Okay. Basically, it's them, and as you get closer, you're going to see some earthly possessions. You're going to see some furniture, some household items. You're going to see two daughters and the mother and father who are pretty wide-eyed. The wife is shaken by this situation, but the father is more than welcome, it seems like, to extend a hand with great gratitude.
All right, so
to the three of you.
I was going to say, Bacchus is gonna make give it a wide berth when he comes back around. I mean, he's not unaware of what he looks like, especially having spent as much time around the sort of, as you mentioned before, common clay of the New West as he has. He's pretty familiar with the common folk, so he spends his movement just getting close, but not too close. Basically, not to seem threatening. He's put his weapons away and makes mention in a very measured voice in their direction that they won't be bothering you anymore. You're free to go.
The father is going to look at you and Jenny, and not really, to your surprise, give much in the way of an adverse reaction. At this juncture, he's just thankful to have seen some deliverance come his way from, admittedly, after the combat ended, a little less harmful than he thought, but still intimidating to a family unit with not really much in the way of defenses from these satyrs. He plans to have a conversation. You can tell he's got words on the tip of his tongue. He wants to say something to you, but his gaze still seems to be on Rosenblood. Rosenblood, you get the feeling that this group of people haven't seen your kind. They look in awe a bit. Even as you are slightly wounded, they're still taken aback by the presence of something they haven't been able to lay eyes on, despite, in your estimation, knowing in the back of their head that these creatures, these high birds, exist amongst them, at least in their region, just not in eyesight very often, if at all, especially for what you can tell now as the combat has died down, are a pair of what you would say are poor common folk. You know, the furniture in their cart, it's a bit worn down, chipped at it. You can see the father, probably by his handiwork, has stuck some extra tacks into the legs of the chairs, making sure they hold up for his growing daughters. The wagon itself, no sheen, no varnish of any sort. It is their purpose built, and that is all. The horse is kept decently, but by no means there's no braid in its mane. It is a horse for function as well, and they are gobsmacked a bit at your presence.
Well, Rosenblood, with a kind of not disappointed, almost like he expected it type of reaction. Everyone's staring, so he kind of steps forward and says, yes, I know. Giant talking bird, very mystical. And he kind of takes a bow. The name's Rosenblood, in case you care to know it.
The wife still, with eyes, is consumed by your beauty at this point. The daughters are kind of, as you speak, kind of do the Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. They've got their hands on their face. They're shocked the bird can talk. You know, this is story tale. This is bedtime kind of things that they're seeing. But the father acknowledges with a nod and kind of pivots to the three of you and says, "Thank you. I can't say I expected to have this kind of greeting on the way to Frickley, but I do greatly appreciate you coming to my family's defense. I don't have much, as you can tell, in the way of possessions, but, and I know, Rosenblood, as it were, sir, I don't think this will suit you as much of an offer, but for the other two of you, we would be more than welcome to make room on this cart and make your journey on the road a bit easier. We have room we can make if you wish to give your legs a rest, as we are on our way to Frickley, and this path seems, no matter where you're looking to go, you're going to find yourself heading that direction anyway."
Well, I'll defer to my traveling companion, but I'd be right at home.
I am perfectly fine with taking a ride if you're offering it. Thank you.
While they're now, is there room for all three of us or just two?
No, there is room for the three of you.
Well, while they're discussing that, Rosenblood just go ahead and hops inside and says, yes, I could definitely stretch my my talons out a little bit. Thanks, much appreciated.
Rander, by the way, as he will introduce himself in just a moment, is going to look again in shock that someone who has the capability of fly, a thing that he has dreamt about once or twice in a lifetime as he is laid in the field and looked up at the birds, not expecting someone who had the skill to hitch a ride on his cart, but at this juncture he's seen enough odd things today that he's okay to make room. So you won't see it depicted on the map. The daughters are going to scramble away. They're going to kind of tuck to a corner of the cart. The father and mother are going to stack chairs and move around some of the kitchen wares to make room for the three of you. And as soon as everybody saddles in onto the cart and is ready to go, you guys are going to start making your way up this path. You're going to go north and make your way to Frickley.
Bacchus, for the record, as though he takes up a decent amount of space, is going to do everything he can to stay out of the way. So whether it's like sitting on the edge and kind of hanging off the back, or standing and holding on to one of the poles or something like that, he'll basically try to make himself as not in the way as possible.
Which is in contrast to Rosenblood, who is definitely stretching his legs out and enjoying the ride.
Comfy?
Jenny,
are
you
you?
gonna? Yeah,
Well, when you fly around so much, it's nice to just kick back and let the wind go through your luxurious, beautiful feathers. Am I right, guys? He says as he looks at the
right through
everybody.
that puncture wound too, huh?
Well, I didn't want to bring attention to it, but now that you mention it, I wouldn't mind giving myself a little rest. This does hurt like hell. You're welcome, by the way.
As they're bantering, I'm just kind of making mental notes on our new bird companion, seeing that I've only ever read about them, and just kind of making mental notes.
Which, by the way, he's enjoying all of this. You can tell by the look on his face that to find people who are so in awe of him and not immediately dismissive of what he is, he's enjoying it. He's basking in it. So this is a good moment for him.
Well, as the daughters kind of sit and just observe, and Jenny, as you noted, you're making mental notes of the bird. You see one of them pull out a scrap piece of paper and a stick probably made of charcoal and just trying to draw whatever her approximation is of the three of you in front of her. She's no more than 5 or 6, so it's going to be pretty rudimentary, but they're excited to see new people that don't look like them on this path. They're just excited to see friendly faces after what's been a pretty traumatizing, hectic morning for the two young girls. As this cart begins moving, you are introduced heartily to Rander and Nathra Brighthearth with their pair of young daughters. Rander has narrow eyes, he's the father of the couple, bright red hair and a large build, and you can tell he's a talkative one. He likes to spin a yarn. He is a farmer, as you would picture in many a rural community. If this were modern times, he would show up at the local corner store, grab a cup of coffee, and then kill an entire pot of coffee as he talks for the next 3 hours. The wife, Nathra, a smaller woman with green eyes. She doesn't talk much, but Rander does defer to her when she does desire to speak. This isn't a domineering situation between the two of them. You can tell that they've been through many years of farming together, which builds a special kind of bond between the two. As the cart goes on toward what you assume to be Frickley, and everything on the map indicates as much for Bacchus as you are at least acutely aware of where you're trying to go, Rander starts to tell you, whether really or not you asked him of what to say. Well, my family and I, we come from Scorton, a little village about 7 leagues back that south way from you guys, where you came from. We were born and bred there, both of us, all of us. Best little place in the world. Well, at least it used to be. About a week ago, we had a giant come to the village. An honest-to-goodness giant. Must have been 12 feet tall. I wouldn't really expected something that you read about in stories, but seeing as our feathered friend has joined us in the caravan, I suppose that stranger things are happening. Now, that giant, fat too, like you have never seen, told us his name was Yegor Bone Crusher. Said he had 2 days to bring him all the food in the village. He wanted every last scrap. And if we didn't find any, he'd find another way to fill his belly. Well, we were pretty sure what he meant by that. We're in a right fix, let me tell you. Some folks wanted to leave, some wanted to fight, and some just wanted to give him the food and hope he went away. 'Twas the last crowd that won out. We spend the next day gathering every scrap of food in the village, I tell you. Cows, sheep, chickens, all of them, slaughtered. My grain was milled and turned into bread. All the fruits and vegetables were harvested, ripe or not. Made a massive pile outside the village when he came back. He sat down, smiling like a babe, and he ate. And ate, and ate. It took 6 hours, but he ate everything. He then stood up without so much as a thank you. But then things get bad. He pulled out an old sack, quick as a flash, plucked 4 of the fattest farmers out of our town and squashes them in that bag. And he strolled off as if nothing in the world had happened to him. As you can expect, we didn't really feel safe in Scorton no more. No crops or animals, we don't really have any reason to be there. Most people head to Tribor, but my brother Andel lives in Frickley, so we set off on our own. It seemed like a good idea too, until, well, those two showed up earlier today. Rander is more than happy to talk your ear off as you go along. You can tell he's, all in all, in decent spirits given the situation. He's not terribly keen to make his way away from the home that he's always known, but he feels okay about heading to a place where his brother is living.
So
I think you made the right choice moving along. You well, first off, shouldn't give in to Giant's demands to begin with, but definitely if they've already raided your place, getting out of there is the better option.
Well, none of the village had really seen a giant before. The kiddos had seen it in a book or two, but it's my first experience with one. Don't really know what to do to a 12-foot tall creature except meet its demands. Well, it didn't work, but we tried.
So wait, you just left him there? He's still there?
Would you go back and take a look if someone that was bigger than any farm building and barn you've ever seen decided to pluck up some of your neighbors and probably treat them as dinner?
Well, bear in mind, Randor, you and I are not the same person.
Seeing how well you wield that axe, I imagine you've got some training that I don't. Although it looks like that you and I are both comfortable with wood as our enemy on the other side of the blade, but that's about it for me.
Rosenblood is gonna look over at Jenny, and she's half elf, right?
Yes.
And he's gonna
Yes, I am.
He's gonna say to her in Elvish, "They're fascinating, aren't they? It's like watching a comedy show."
Most things are in one way or another.
Wait a minute. Some of that sounds familiar. Either you, he points at Jenny, or he points at Rosenblood. Either you speak Elvish, or you, he points at Jenny, speak Bird.
It's Elvish.
It's definitely Elvish. I would laugh to find anyone that speaks Bird other than us.
And yet you talk. Interesting.
Oh, I'm full of tricks. Trust me, friend.
Tricks they are. So, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. The farmer. Rander, sorry. I said
Rander.
Rosenblood. That threw me off.
Just
Rander.
call him
Rander Orton.
Just call him Piney and get it over with.
The Verper. Rander Orton. So, Rander, so what's your plan? What's the plan here? You go, you live with your brother, and that's it?
Join in on the farm. Hopefully Frickley, I know it's a small village, but perhaps a chance to start anew. At least that's our aspiration. Like I said, I can go back, but all the grain that I've grown this season is gone and went way faster than anything I've ever dreamt. And if that's the kind of reception we were given after being so gracious to our new coming creature, whatever you want to call that bone crusher, I can't imagine it's going to be fruitful living for us to stick around. So
why do I have a bad
best I can
feeling?
hope for.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Why is that?
Because you sound like the hero type.
That's the heartiest laugh that you'll get out of Bacchus yet. He says, against my will, perhaps. I won't act like I haven't been on that end of the battlefield, friend, but it's not exactly my type.
What about you, Elf? Are you the hero type?
I'm the knowledge-gathering type. And half-heartedly answering him, I kind of peek over at the girl's drawing and kind of point a few tips out at her for areas to correct.
Well,
The girl gets pretty excited because she's never really had anybody show her how to draw. This is all self-taught. So she kind of gives you a smile and a nod as if to say thank you and kind of rubs it with the wrist a little bit, which ends up smudging it a little bit. She turns over to the other side of the little scrap of paper she has, and she starts drawing away again, sketching whatever she can, kind of taking heed to what she can apply from your instruction.
make sure you get the beak right. No one ever gets the beak right.
She just looks at you and nods and smiles and right back down to the paper. You can speak to her, the daughters, that they're not going to give you much of the time of day other than a quick nod, a glance, a smile to be polite because that's what their parents taught them, and then right back down to the paper.
Rander, after we arrive in Frickley, you won't be far, will you?
How do you mean? I mean, we're going to be in town. My brother Ander lives there, so that's somewhere in the village. I know I've only visited once or twice since he's moved up here, but there's only, as I understand it, about 150 people in the whole place, so I won't be hard to find, I'm sure.
I have some business to attend to, but when it's over, I'd like to speak with you more about this.
I knew it.
If it's about going to see the giant, I wouldn't mind seeing one in person.
Oh, both of them.
You know, you have wings. You just flap them and they take you away.
Yes, but judging from the encounter we just had, I would say that since you couldn't manage to finish off a lowly satyr, the chances of you two surviving against a giant without me are slim. And in good conscience, I can't allow two simple folk to be destroyed by a giant beast and have a say in it. So of course, if you two are going, I'll have to go too and be the hero.
It's sweet that you're begrudgingly concerned, but we also haven't shown all of our abilities.
You know, whatever helps you sleep at night, Birdman.
I certainly hope Birdman does not become a friendly jest between us, friend.
Have no doubt that friendly will take some time.
He's just going to go back to staring up at the sky.
Well, unless there's anything the two remaining compatriots, Jenny and Bacchus, any more exchanges you wish to have with the family of farmers that you find yourself with, they're going to be making their way up to Frickley.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I don't think I have anything else to ask them.
Nope. All right. The rest of your journey, pretty peaceful, a little bit bumpy at times. It is a forest path, so of course underbrush, growth, fallen limbs and things will kind of find their way around, but nothing treacherous, nothing the cart and the horse can't handle. It takes you a few hours. You guys did encounter everybody in the earlier portion of the morning, but it is about noon as you find your way into Frickley. Not much to see. Frickley, it's a small, sleepy village, about 30 houses. A 10-foot wooden palisade is the wall that surrounds it. Give you a little bit of a look, not much, but a rudimentary glance into what you could picture a thatch roof cottage village to be. As you approach, though, you notice that the main gate's been patched up kind of slapdash. It's being held together with rope. It's not too difficult. Rander pops out the front, kind of just looks at it. Looks like a double knot at best, so he's going to untie it. And unless you guys have anything to look toward the otherwise, you're going to find your way into the heart of the village.
Sorry, let me pause for a second. Cody Sandusky, did you hit me with sound effects?
I was about to say, do I have music?
Right? Like, I'm hearing like rivers and stuff.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Okay.
Look, and now Cody's just hit me with a look at me. I am the showrunner now. I do this.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think this is going to be in the recording. I'm pretty sure it's not recording my computer audio. So that's
I
just
don't care
for you
about
guys.
those people. No, I didn't say that. Wait.
Well, okay. Here's my problem with it though, is that it's for some reason coming through my speakers and not my headset, so it's going to get picked up on my microphone. So how do I turn that off?
I'm going to go ahead and do this. Then I can turn that way down. Is that any better?
Yes, I love it. By the way, I love it, but I just don't know how it's going to turn up. Yeah, that's really cool.
Mine was strictly through my headphones. I got up to turn off a lamp behind me, and I was like, "Is Sarah playing some music? What is this?"
Hold on, Cody. Give me 1 second. I think I can figure.
I thought Shannon was messing with the ambiance. That's another option on his new magical microphone.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Magical microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Damn it, how do I fix
I'm taking
this?
notes right now. This is good stuff because I have a whole series of Star Wars ambiance stuff that I've been wanting to use. So, okay, sorry.
Yeah, you and I will talk
chat.
after.
We'll have a session later. Yes.
Indeed, we will.
Okay, so sorry, I was a little distracted. So the cottage itself, the town itself was like gated off. You said.
Yeah, there's about a 10-foot wooden fence around it. Nothing much. It looks like basically just what you would frame up to have a town in terms of some sort of defense. But the main gate into town is very slapdash knotted together with rope. Like something has happened here, and it's not much for anybody to get in. But Rander does have to disembark from the cart, untie a couple knots at the gate.
Okay, and then so as far as the map that we're seeing, that we're entering from where?
You'll be entering from the south.
Okay.
So if I click and hold that area.
Okay, so approximately the southwest area there.
Yep.
Okay. Once we're into town, since it's relatively slow going and it seems quiet, Bacchus is going to hop off the cart and just sort of get a kind of lay of the land. I'm also going to have him go ahead and pull his offhand axe. So in his left hand, he's going to pull one of those hand axes and just keep it held all the way almost up to the blade.
Okay.
I guess... Let's see. I'm not sure how I can go about, or if it is something that I can call for. Can I call for a check? Can I make a perception check effectively?
Certainly, yeah.
Okay.
If you want to do, and I guess I should have spoken for that for any of you guys. If at any time you want to do a check, just let me know, and we'll do the roll if it fits, or we'll kind of maybe permutate what it needs to be. But yeah, you're free to check.
Okay.
What do you want?
So,
or I guess what kind of
rather than, because I know investigation is more based on specific clues in the area, I would rather him just make more of a general perception check, and just, like I said, kind of get the lay of the land. Is there any sort of off-putting sound? Does anything seem out of place in terms of movement? That sort of thing. Not necessarily looking for clues, but what's off here is what I'm going for.
Okay.
13 plus 1, I think. No, 2, so 15 total.
15. Okay, so Bacchus, as you get off the cart at the edge of town, it seems like you kind of wanted to get your surroundings. You're going to take a look. That gate, it looks very, as I said, slapdash. They're the thinnest twine you would think someone would have on themselves. It's a hempen rope at best that they've kind of thrown this gate together with. And you specifically, you see a couple of tracks outside that gate. Or maybe you glanced at them as you were approaching this town wall.
Okay.
You see a couple footprints that are a bit larger than you would expect any inhabitant of this town to possess.
Okay. Are we talking full-on giant size, or is that something I can tell at this point?
You have a pretty comfortable feeling that it's going to be a sized creature of a giant, something of that ilk.
And they're heading in what direction?
If you look on the outside of the gate, you're going to see a bit of a perimeter path. You're kind of walking around the outskirts of town.
Okay.
Once you come through the gate, you see a couple, and they're quickly rubbed out in the dirt, as you could imagine. With people trying to tie up a gate, there's been some gathering of feet to try to stern up the defenses. But you see that the footprints are on the outside of that gate, and they start making their way, I would say, toward the west, but around that gate, around that wall.
Okay. But they're not within the walls, is what I'm hearing. They're not within the fence.
Not beyond the first couple steps.
Okay.
Like I said, you see the first couple maybe kind of scattered about like you would see someone who did a bunch of stutter steps in the snow. You see a couple giant footprints inside the gate, but most of them have been walked over as people, you would assume, scrambled to get a gate fixed.
Right. I'm going to make a point to point this out as best I can, not really to Rander or his family. This is purely pointed at the other two. Jenny specifically, I'm assuming that names. Roseblood. Thank you. This is so much easier when I write them all down myself. That he's overhearing, but not really directly in his direction. I'm just going to make a point to point this out to her. I think Rander's friend may have migrated north.
Possibly.
So
I know you have business to do. If you want to do it, I am perfectly fine with nosing around and seeing if I can find anything out from the locals.
Technically, our transaction is complete since we are both here safe, but I would rather be under the impression that we are both going to leave here alive. So if you're sure you're okay going off on your own,
I think I'll be okay within their village walls at the moment. They might not have the best security, but you see that they're trying.
Well, if nothing else, Monty may have more information.
Okay, you twisted my feather. I'll go with her. He says as he stretches out.
Well, have fun with that, and I'll be on my way.
So all three of you, it seems to be, are going to be disembarking off the cart. As you come into the village, it feels, you were able to perceive this pretty quickly, Bacchus. It's pretty deserted, or at least it feels like it. There's not much, there's no one walking amongst the town itself. But as you take your first few strides into town, after getting off the cart, Rander's going to keep moving his way on this path that you see from southwest to northeast. Okay. You hear a lot of loud talking. You hear a lot of gathering somewhere up to that northeast. And I would imagine it's not going to take much for you guys to notice that. If you take a few steps into town, you're going to see a sign up front for an inn. The only one in town. You would imagine this is the meeting place for the village writ large, called the Blue Duke. This small town is, from the sounds of it, all piling up into this one building. In fact, Bacchus, based upon what you saw a little bit ago, as you're starting to make your few steps up the path, you see a couple of human farmer types, and actually an elf hunter as well, all running quickly, trying to get themselves into the Blue Duke.
Okay, so then back over my shoulder towards Jenny, and I guess at this point Rosenblood too. Sounds like regardless of where we're headed, we're going to end up in the same location here.
Yeah, I am sensing that as well. So let's get in there before it's too full.
This should be fun. I do well in giant crowds of hayseeds.
Again, your help is welcomed, but if it's too beneath you, you can wait here.
Look, pretty elf lady, it's okay. You don't have to ask for my help. It's just assumed. So let's go.
Okay.
I just start walking up the path.
He's charming.
Is that the word?
Look.
Maybe mix a little overbearing.
Look, I said I wasn't going to be antagonistic. That's the goal.
The sentence.
That's the goal lines. That's got to be the goalpost, right? I mean,
do the story, bird.
Squawk?
No, that's his name.
Squawk Rosenblood.
Squawk Rosenblood.
He just doesn't like to divulge that first part.
Right. It was something like Skywhack or something. I don't remember. It was something like that.
That was my favorite unofficial Star Wars toy.
The Skywhack. All right, so I think Rosenblood's just going to get in the midnight coterie and fly off.
Yes, you can't just midnight coterie away from all your problems. But he could, and it was awesome.
He gonna try.
He technically can.
Yeah. Bacchus is very much not. Despite what the beginning of this has kind of seemed to be, he's not much of a talker. It's just that he knows these very down to earth people. So when a guy like Rander, jeez. I gotta start writing stuff down. I'm terrible about that. But anyway, when a guy like him just starts talking, Bacchus is very much content to just sit back and listen and just let him go. He's been doing this for years now at this point. When it comes to interacting with others, he's only as quick on his feet as I'll allow him to be, and sometimes I have to rein that in on a personal note. So it's very much at a certain point he won't continue the fight. He will just turn and walk away.
Yeah.
We're not fighting. It's banter.
No, that's what I mean. He's not in a position to do that. The man has a 9 intelligence, okay, and a 9 charisma too. So he's not built for that sort of thing. And at a certain point, he gets frustrated with it and just kind of turns and makes his way in that direction that they discussed.
All right, so. If any of you, do you wish, I know you had mentioned specifically, Lindsey, that you guys are going to make your way toward the inn. How many of you wish to make your path toward that?
Yeah, I think at this point that's the plan. If Monty is here or anywhere near here and this much chaos is ongoing where all these people are coming together, Bacchus is going to assume, Monty's probably either at the head of it or at the very least he's got somebody there finding out what's going on for him.
I will also go.
Okay. It's not perilous. It's a short path, as you saw. A town of 150 people. It's not difficult to find your way into the only establishment that can hold more than maybe 10. You find your way into, that's far too large an icon.
I was going to say, there's a giant woman in the bar.
There was a giant woman in there.
Do you think you think Cody's overcompensating, Hunter?
Perhaps.
I like it. It says merge.
No,
perhaps.
I'm going to be honest. I found toys and got really excited to play with them. So that's what's happening.
Yeah, Cody brought the boom.
When I have to use or not have to, but when I'm using a game that's no longer in print, you don't get all this fun stuff. You get to take screenshots and make maps out of what exists. When you play with the new game, you get to play with the new toys.
So I'm Agent J. I've got the new hotness.
Yes.
You don't want that old busted.
Old and busted.
Old and busted.
Old busted hotness.
No, for those at home, there's a fire crackling in the background. There's a bunch of characters scattered about.
Yeah, just make me sound worse, Cody. Keep it going.
Hey. I'm just happy this map fit and that the two grid lines don't completely cause chaos.
I also had to contend with that a little bit. No, it looks good. I like it.
Yeah. Align to grid is a fun tool when you can use it, and I am not proficient. I have failed a couple of those rolls. The Blue Duke, as you three make your way in, it's a comfortable place. Bacchus, you could find yourself quite quickly at home in a place like this. Yeah. It's probably what you're familiar with in your village of choice. It's a bunch of farmers and hunters. It's the local watering hole. They gather in when they're not working over the farms or working over the traps. People are gossiping over a flagon or two of ale, a couple bowls of mutton stew. It feels like home.
Yeah, this is probably a little bigger overall than the tavern in Thunder Tree, only because it and the inn are separate there. But yeah, you put the two together, and this is very much. I mean, it is again the you buy it from the catalog, right? That's what these places look like. And all there. There's that giant woman again. There she goes.
Is she the giant?
There's the giant.
Okay.
No,
we
she
found
is
her.
not.
All right.
She is the...
that was great.
It's just having a drink, yeah.
Success, she's inside the building.
We found her.
The giant came from inside the bar.
Maybe the giant was the friends we all made along the way.
But we didn't make any friends yet.
Well, I mean, Rander's there.
I mean, Elf Girl likes me.
Friend Lee.
Does she? Are you sure?
I don't necessarily dislike.
There you go. That's, you know what, in my line of work, that's tops.
Take it. Yeah,
that's where you're at.
So yeah, Bacchus would be at home as at home he can never be anywhere. Basically, I mean he's still significantly taller and looks significantly different than most humans, but he has sort of that. The only charisma he has about him is that air of folksiness, of that these are kind of my people in the way that I live my life. So yeah. He's reasonably comfortable. That said, he doesn't let that second axe go just yet.
And don't blame you for that, because when you guys arrive, all five of you, you'll see the two characters in front of you are Rander and Nathra, the husband and wife farmer who you rode with into town. As you guys arrive into this building, it's filled to capacity. Worried villagers, everybody is talking over one another, banging on the tables. You can tell you have found your way into what would be the rough equivalent of a town hall meeting, with everybody they can cram into this place. As soon as, not so much Rander and Nathra, they cross through, there's a quick hail for Rander from someone across the way. You imagine that maybe his brother or someone he knows, so they maybe mosey toward a table. But as the rest of you walk in, especially Rosenblood, a bit toward Bacchus, again, and we'll see why shortly. Jenny, you're not the most peculiar person to darken the doorway. You guys silence the chaos a bit. Especially with Bacchus holding that axe. You're well armed. These people are kind of impressed by that. As you can sense maybe in this room, they're looking for somebody like you guys. Maybe you're the gift they've been looking for. Everyone in town that of the 150, you guys scan your eyes, give a quick head count, and you imagine there's probably about 130, 140 of those people in here. Workers, villagers, the whole lot. The conversation is being spearheaded, most loudly though, by this contingent of three folks that you see before you gathered in front of the bar. You see a tall, human farmer, or what it looks like in terms of how he is dressed, much similar to Rander, so you imagine he's probably a man of the land. You, Jenny specifically, will have your eye caught on a half-elf female across the way. And then between the two of them, you're going to see a red-faced, slightly stout halfling standing on a bar stool between them. It's a bit of a triangle they're forming here. If we were to borrow a phrase from our lexicon, it's a bit of a Mexican standoff. Not with weapons, but in conversation between the three of them. Heads are pivoting, loud words are being exchanged. You found yourselves in a bit of a peculiar situation, and as you maybe hear the murmur of the rest of the villagers kind of pick up on the fact that you guys are all here and one of you is carrying an axe, looking like you are capable of doing some combat. The three of these people are going to, especially the halfling standing on the bar stool, is going to kind of beckon you guys toward them.
I'm going to defer to
I'm
Jenny
going to go
first.
ahead and move over to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move over, because if they wouldn't have done that, I was going to go over and talk to them anyways.
I'm going to order a drink.
I'll follow along.
Of course you are. There seems to be quite a ruckus going on here.
Just for a quick aside, Rosenblood, you're going to come up to that bar and the lady behind it is going to kind of look at you and say, what do birds drink?
Well, that's a very interesting question, actually. Where I'm from, I prefer a good wine. They have this wonderful little bush nearby. Well, what do you have on tap? Do you have anything? What's your most exquisite drink here?
We got ale and porter.
And that's it.
Sure. Probably something in the back or in the barn across the way, but most people here drink ale.
Then I'll take the porter.
Bacchus can't help but lean over and say, "Oh, I hope they aren't serving chicken."
Just give me the porter.
She saddles one up to you, still kind of, again, you're going to get the feeling as you were in this building. Bacchus, you caught the attention up front because you had an axe, but Rosenblood, you're going to get that feeling like you had on the cart that these people have never seen anything like you before, at least up close. They've probably looked in the sky and thought that maybe they were seeing things, maybe a cloud moving quickly, if they've seen one of your kind fly over their portion of the high forest. But they're a bit taken aback, even circumstances considered, by someone of your being inside of the Blue Duke.
Scanning the room, how many of them exactly are looking toward me? Give me a percentage.
Probably about 25. As you would imagine, there are more, but most eyes are still focused and yelling toward the triumvirate you see in front of the bar.
That's not.
But you've pulled some eyes away.
Oh, of course. That's not nearly enough for me to perform. He's just going to have his drink and take a sip and say, that's actually not half bad. Thank you.
As Bacchus, as you and Ginny move closer, you're going to hear this halfling specifically just stomping his foot on the bar stool, saying that we've got to make a decision. Something has to happen soon. We're in trouble otherwise.
Hear, hear.
And
would it be safe to assume this is about the footprints we saw outside town?
The halfling pivots his head. The other two do as well, but the pivot from the halfling catches, pretty close to you and says, "Oh, so there's still a couple of them left. I hope they're not fresh." And then,
they didn't look fresh.
Glowers over quickly at the other two.
Bacchus is gonna slowly, but not in any, how do I put this? He's not drawing any attention. The way that he's putting that axe away, he's gonna slide it back into its sheath at his hip, but keep his hand rested on it, basically, and say, "I assume at least one of you knows Montague Eads."
The farmer, specifically, the one that is in front of you, he looks and nods in the affirmative, and Pello, as he will introduce himself, the halfling here, says, Monty, he's been one of my regulars in the past. I hear he's not doing too well right now, but yeah, you're in the right place for a Monty.
That's what brings me here, but it sounds like perhaps other things are more important at the moment. Please continue.
At that juncture, before he can even open his mouth, the half-elf on the other side is going to tell you quite quickly, her name is Tastra. "Hello, my name is Tastra Fleet Song. Yes, you're right, there has been a giant visit here. Bone Crusher was the last name. He made his way here the day before and told us all that we had needed to gather everything we had for him to eat. All the food, all the crops, all the animals, anything we could muster together and bring it to him on the outside of town. He's said he would be back at the highest point of the sun tomorrow. And we haven't really made much in the way of the decision of what we, as the people of Frickley, are going to do about it."
Well, clearly you don't want to give him all your food.
So, really quick, I just want to point out to Hunter that when he said that, all I could hear was, "My name is Tastra, hold for groans." Hold for groans.
Pause for groans. Pause for groans. She tells the story. I'm going to keep my attention toward her, but I'm going to walk over toward Rander's table, and without a word, just kind of, not gruffly, but just kind of clasp the, scruff of his neck and, usher him back toward the area as the story is finishing up so that he can hear what she's saying. As soon as she's done, I'm just going to kind of clap him on the shoulder and tell him, or ask him, does that sound familiar?
Rander is going to, as he comes up and hears the last few details, he hears Bone Crusher, he hears tomorrow, his eyes get wide. And he yells, "Oh, gods, you too? You guys have had a visit? Oh, no, that... Oh, okay." He is going to motion for someone from the back, and you're gonna get the quick introduction that this is Andal, his brother. So Andal, serving as a bit of a vouch for him to the trio of people that seem to be the leaders in this conversation. Andal is going to, basically give him the thumbs up. This is true. This is a man of his word. He's honorable. Listen to what he has to say. Rander is going to give the same spiel that you guys heard, albeit with a bit more grisly detail, and maybe his time contemplating upon it, or the fact that he has a fresh wave of terror come over him, knowing that he thought he had escaped safely with his family, but in fact, he may have just brought them to the next destination for their doom. Goes on to the fact that the giant came to our village. He said he wanted everything we had, all the crops. We did it all. We slaughtered all the cows, the goats, anything we could get. He gave it all. He ate it all. It took him about half a day, and then he took, he took Norvell. He took 4 of the biggest farmers we had, put them in a sack, and he walked off. We thought he was going somewhere else in the forest. You mean to tell me, Andal, that he came to this town? He came here? And Grigor, who will make himself known quite quickly, the farmer amongst the three of them, is going to bellow out, "Yes, he did decide to come here. It seems like we've got the same visitor you did, and, well, it seems you had the same plan that I had. We're farmers. We grow the crops. We do the work. It's not quite the people we wanted to give it to," but he's going to look at Jenny and Bacchus specifically and say, "But wouldn't you think it the wise thing to try to prepare your town safely as best it can? Stay in your place. Let this beast consume what he wants and let him go on. We're not worried about him if he'll just go away." And as soon as he tells you that, Tastra pops right up. No. That is not how you do this. If you let him come into our walls and you let him eat, what is to say that he's going to stop doing that? This man has just spoken of the same thing in another village, and they're coming here. People are leaving. Clearly, that's not the way you're going to achieve this. We abandon Frickley. This town is what needs to be left behind. If other people are leaving their place, don't you think that's the wise decision we need to make the same way? If he's going to come here and he knows we've got something for him, why do we need to stick around for it?
Because he's going to just keep going from town to town until he's stopped.
Quick question, Cody. How tall is the ceiling in this place?
It's tall enough. You'd say it's probably about 8 to 10 feet.
So would you say it's tall enough for a certain bird to rise above and flap a little bit and get everybody's attention?
You'll get a couple feet off the ground. I mean, you're probably... How tall are you as a creature?
I actually don't know. I think it said they're like a little over 5 feet.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I picture about 5.5 foot. So not gargantuan by any means.
All right.
Yeah,
Eric on average are about 5 feet tall, for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to slam his... he slams his drink down. Wings pop up. He lifts up into the air and kind of hovers up near the ceiling and just says out loud, "Simple folk, you're all wrong. The lovely half-elf is right. You don't leave this place. If you know he's coming tomorrow, then we fight him. You kill the beast and you move on with your life. It's not that hard."
Tastra, first of all, is going to look at you and say, "No, I want..."
Bacchus.
Just the thought of even fighting,
steps forward
she
to her
concedes a little bit to her compatriot.
Puts his hand to his forehead and he points at Jenny and he says, "He means the other one."
That's true. No. I'm sure you all look upon me and wonder what great mystical creature has come to your tiny little village. Well, let me tell you,
it's a bird.
First and foremost, who said that?
And make a deception check.
Sure. You know what? Go for it.
Go for it.
Where is it? There's roll 20. Where are my dice? There we go.
Please deceive. Yeah, no. I know.
I wasn't actually trying to hide it.
Better than that. He's going to notice. Oh, I know,
the plot twist is I wanted him to see it.
He looks over at you and he's got a twitch now every time you talk. He kind of twitches a little bit and then goes back to the crowd. First and foremost, I am a hero. And the hero that has come to your village tells you, you don't have to be afraid of these monsters. Do I look afraid of any monster? No.
Someone pipes up from the crowd, "You're half the size of him. What are you gonna do, Birdman?"
He pulls out his 2 short swords. I'll do what you people won't do, apparently, and that's stand and defend yourselves. This is why we stay so far away from you, because the lot of you are cowards, too afraid to defend yourself against what's out there, the big scary monster at your door. Well, I say no, no longer. You stand and fight. You're stout men and women of what appears to be some intelligence. So why run? Why let this monster take what is yours? I say we stand and fight. Who's with me?
As you rally that cry, you get some the crowd, some people, especially you see some farmers with their scythes and their pitchforks. A couple of them are a little riled up by your speech, but maybe feeling that you've hit on a vein that he was going to perhaps strike on. Pello, he is going to stand, this halfling, on the bar. Not even on the bar stool. He's needing to get himself a little bit higher. He's going to stomp a couple of times, give a quick whistle as loud as he can across the bar, and you hear everybody kind of mellow out a little bit. And he looks up to you and he says, "You know what? He's got a point.
Yes.
I was going to fight for my home. This building you're standing in is my life's blood. My life's work has been hosting the passerbys of Frickley and leaving a good place for a good meal and a good drink for all of you. We have to fight for our village. You all need to follow the words of this man and do the same. But I know," as he looks over to Grigor the farmer, Tasha the half-elf, and just generally scans the crowd, "there's not many of you who've ever fought. None of you've really had to do much of that. We're a quiet village. I feel like we may have some help here to find someone who can tip those scales in our favor.
Bacchus's
Jaya, Giant Slayer."
As this is kind of coming into a head, Bacchus is trying to get a read on this Tastra. Does he get the idea that she's much of a fighter? I mean, what is she appearance wise? Does she look like someone who can hold her own in a fight?
Decently, she's got about to the small of her back red hair. It's long, but it's braided up as you would imagine a half-elf to be. She looks like a hunter. She's got her bow slung across her back with a quiver full of arrows. Her fingers, as she even talks, you can tell they kind of clench and uncinch as if she's ready to throw something to the quick and pull. You can tell she's got a quick trigger.
That's what he was looking for. So given the idea that she seems to be the most resistant to this concept, outside of the farmer who kind of just wants to give this guy everything, Bacchus is going to turn his attention to her because he suspects that while the common people are probably going to listen to Rosenblood's speech, these others may be less willing to jump into the fray here. And he makes mention of this to her, that while it looks clear that she's not maybe quite as likely to fall in line here, he says, "Remember, all throughout history there have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time they seem invincible, but in the end, in my experience, they always fall. Always."
She seems a little uplifted by that. She's still kind of hesitant. You're new to town. She doesn't know much of your ways. She glances back to Pello, who looks like he's ready to explain a few things to the new among you. She looks back at you and says, "Your words mean a little something. I feel like there's something there with you. You could be of good help to us." And as Pello starts to put together the tale of one Jaya, Giant Slayer, that's where we're going to come to an end tonight.
Aww.
Okay. All right, Tintel. Hey, that's good timing.
I'm invested.
That's the point.
Good.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah,
He's
so
not
am I, man.
he's not
That's good stuff. What's that?
He's not antagonistic. He's just I'm gonna do it on the next one, but the moment he gets a chance, when everyone decides to go out and fight, he's just gonna sit back down at the bar and say, "See, words have power. You guys let me know how it all turns out."
Thank you. I've been Rosenblood. Good night.
What's your
find the nearest
performance
barrel of
score
ale.
over there, Shannon?
It's gotta be good.
He is the Squawking Jay.
It's the what?
The Squawking Jay. You're the spark that lights the fire.
Your performance, for what it's worth, is a +1, although your persuasion's a +3. So I'm willing with your gallant words. You've seemingly shifted at least the opinions of a few people inside that.
I don't know if I appreciate her joke.
I don't know if I appreciate this
my
voice
Backus
modulator.
has very much found himself at the forefront of a very similar situation, so that's why I had him in particular looking for the who's not going to fall in line here, who's not going to be part of this, and who are we going to need.
Well, I think we're definitely going to need the Moroccan Kermit.
The Moroccan
No,
bad.
he's,
Yeah,
a
bad
bad,
Kermit.
he's a bad apple.
He's the bad apple.
Are there any frog locks in this world?
No. Well,
There are
I don't know.
turtles.
Yeah, I'm about to say turtles do exist.
Oh, shit, could I have been a turtle?
Not with the existing
Are they
kind
of the
Yes,
Teenage
but-
Mutant variety?
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You would be surprised. No, maybe you wouldn't be surprised how many people play monk turtles for that exact reason.
Yeah, they're lawful good. They've got a decent armor class. Yeah,
The
yeah,
old
some fun.
quarterstaff.
Look, I'm already digging the bird. He's I like the fact that he can fly
Bird up.
too. I'm gonna incorporate it so much if I can.
Oh, you're ready to be a bird of war.
I
aren't
am.
you?
Well, or a pigeon boy. It's one or the other. I haven't quite decided yet.
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you all for listening. We're just about that 2-hour mark. Hope to find that hook. A little bit slower than I think I anticipated, but that's more on me trying to get my feet wet as a DM.
happens.
But we
Well,
will be back next
you're doing
Tuesday to hear the tale of
Yes.
Jaya, Giant Slayer, and maybe see what this trio of, friends is probably a loose term. I'd say Bacchus
we're
and Jenny are at least warm compatriots for a short journey. Rosenblood is of his own ilk.
Look, I think the reason this took longer is because we talked a lot. There's a lot of
that's okay.
dialogue.
That's fun.
That's
I was
called
hoping for that.
story building.
Yes.
Yeah, no, believe me, as someone who wants to build, borrow my Steve Austin, I wanted to build a fishbone skeleton. Just enough of it, you kind of work around it. I put together the framework, and you guys have taken off with flying colors over it, and I'm really excited.
Good.
For the record,
You did a fantastic job.
For the record, Shannon, if you do start calling yourself the Bird of War, at some point in time, Cody, I'm going to need some enemy when it approaches him to go, I feel like if I come in there, you're just going to throw sand in my eyes, so I'm just going to run away.
Hunter, if you think at this point, now that you've said that, I don't have a pocket full of sand,
Actually,
you're insane.
Actually, I had to look at her equipment just because it was there. Jenny has, tell him, Lindsay,
I do.
a little bag of sand.
Oh,
She has one.
I do. It's part of my spell set.
nice.
Cody,
Nice.
is it possible that I could have a bucket of chestnuts? Is that something I could have? I would like to go foraging for my food. So
You know, he
I mean, you've been walking through the forest for at least a few days to find your way to Frickley. I'm sure you found something along the way.
Lindsay, you know, Jenny, he kept calling you the N-word the whole time. Night elf.
why?
Night elf. I kept it clean.
But I'm not a night
That's the
elf.
joke.
I'm a half
Let's move
elf.
on. Moving on.
Let's move on. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to Hunter, Shannon, and Lindsay for being the willful participants in part
Thank
one
you to Cody.
of this D&D 5e
Thank you to
campaign.
Cody
know what?
for stepping up
Hunter-
here, man.
Hunter, real quick, I think we need to give a shout out to Cody Sandusky.
Yes.
Let's,
Yep.
Oh, no, thank you. But no, we definitely, I forgot. Forgive me. We need to give a quick shout out
Oh,
to Christina
yeah.
Applegate. You know,
Yeah.
Woo!
For sure.
the inspiration for this tale some way or another,
Yes,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
We'll figure it out by the end.
She is the giant slayer.
Yeah, that's right. Christina Applegate starring as Jaya Giant Slayer next week on PZ85 Plays. But we will be back next week for part 2 of this D&D 5e campaign. As we said, if you've been listening this long and have wondered, I haven't heard any blasters or any droids. What's going on with this? Again, go back to last week, listen to the conclusion of Act 1 of Star Wars Dawn of Defiance, which will be returning after the first of the year, taking a bit of a holiday hiatus, but our friends in the galaxy far, far away will be back soon enough. I don't actually know in terms of the status for tomorrow's show. You know, I don't know, Shannon, if you've heard one way or another.
I know I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Asa, due to a personal tragedy, is not going to be hosting. I assume Dalton will be filling in. I actually plan on.
It may be a solo
Yeah.
show.
Well,
or he may get some helpers.
Yeah,
again.
well, I thought about reaching out to Dalton and asking if he wanted some backup tomorrow, that I could provide that. But Dalton's really good at doing it on his own. He doesn't need anybody, so it's entirely up to him. But Wednesday may or may not happen. Thursday, definitely, though. We'll be back with After Dark. And then, of course, it's Bird Time on Friday.
Hey, Lindsey, I know we could do this off the show, but while I'm thinking of it, because the listeners may want to know, are we doing like year-end topics this year? I know that we're in kind of
yes.
We usually at least the last show we usually go, or at least the last couple we usually go over some. Of
I think we should do it the entire month. I think we should have a top 5 of our favorite something. And every show.
I was going to make a suggestion for that, and to take it a little further, since obviously, like, for example, movies. We didn't get a lot of new stuff in 2020 with everything that's been going on. I thought you could kind of tweak it as whether they came out this year or not, the top 5 things that got you through 2020 of each one. Be it movies, be it TV, games, whatever we do each week.
Little things we looked forward to.
Yeah,
basically.
and whatever little category. Like I said, movies, TV, games, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
And usually at the end we do our
year in review.
Our most played list like we did last year. I thought
Boy, I can't wait to do the year in review this year. I'm gonna.
Oh God! Just can you put an hour of just screaming? Because that's basically 2020 in review. Just an hour long scream.
Oh man, it's gonna be. This may honestly be the darkest show we've ever done in our lives. I'm not gonna lie to you. But you know what? We'll find the humor in it.
The 17th or the 18th, because after that I'm out. I won't see you again till the new year. So.
We'll do it. We'll make it the last show you're around.
Yes.
We'll do that.
I'm here for it.
Okay. All right. Cody, take us out.
That's, of course, as Shannon said, Thursday will be PZ After Dark. Friday will be Bird Time, Horse Time, Aarakocra Time, whatever we wish to put into it. We'll find a way to cram it all together.
Bird Horse.
But for Hunter, for Shannon, for Lindsey, I have been your Dungeon Master, Cody, saying thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next Tuesday with more of the Tale of Frickley on PZ85 Plays. Later.